And welcome back to Innocent Sin, ladies and gentlemen. Today we raid Club Zodiac, which oddly enough, despite its name, doesn't have any Zodiac puzzles. Huzzah!
It's just the name.
Yeah.
It's just cool.
Now, in this dungeon here, the first thing I love this battle theme, by the way. Now, first you're going to find demons you fought before. You can easily talk to them to get the free tarot cards, or you can just kill them and get more experience. Up to you.
Yuki 316 says I'm gonna kick your ass.
She wouldn't do that.
What?
No, fuck that. So ultimately, my playstyle is a little different though. Like, go for regular demons when you can with basic bitch spells, and then like finish it with a fusion. This way you can try to get more experience for your personas that way. Now again, Hama, since that thing's a dark demon, it hits, auto kill.
Nice. And does that matter? Does HP matter at that point?
Nope.
Okay, so it's...
Hama and Mudo are basically one-hit kill.
But they gotta be weak to it.
Well, they don't have to be weak to it.
Really? So it just increases the probability.
Exactly, it ups your chances. Like, if they're, let's say Hama works 25% of the time against a normal demon,
yeah, it'll
work 50% of the time against a dead demon.
Okay.
Spells like Hamayon and Mudon, which are basically the next tier up from them, they have a greater chance of instant kill, like 50% without it, 100 with the weakness.
Okay. So, so the only trade-off is that they have low probability at start.
Right. Booyah.
Fuck yeah.
Hey, that makes me feel good.
Garu, is that wind?
Garu is indeed wind. Now, Pixie I got has a unique property to her as a persona. Not all persona will have those properties, but Pixie has a unique one. By the time she reaches rank 8, its luck stat is 99.
Damn.
So sometimes you can keep her in the background and go gambling with her, and allegedly it increases your luck. As far as I know, I don't exactly think that. I'm more of the mindset of innate luck, as well as the mixture of maybe the persona's luck, as well as any sort of luck boosting accessories you might have.
Is there any point to having good luck in a fight?
In the middle of a fight, yes, that increases your chances for fusion. It increases your chances for mutation.
Yeah.
It will also depend on whether or not it also affect whether or not your weapons with armor with good invasion stats will kick in or not. And it also has a slight bearing on whether or not your Hama or Mudo skill hits as well.
So, what's the difference between a persona ranking up and it mutating?
Mutation, when it comes to basic rank ups and mutations, rank up just basically improves the persona's stats, and it also makes it and if it's at that particular rank, it'll learn a new ability. When it comes to mutation, mutations mean that it can happen after rank 8. Personas stop ranking up at rank 8, so whatever stats it has by rank 8, you're stuck, unless it hits a mutation, in which case it can even exceed those stats. Theoretically, it's possible to have any persona hit 99 in all stats.
Theoretically.
Yeah.
Likelihood of that happening, though?
Slim, because very, very low, because quite frankly, as I've said before, you're most likely going to have you're gonna most likely be experimenting with all sorts of combinations. Also, when it comes to mutations, as opposed to rank up, excuse me, right now I got hiccups. Mutations are also going to likely affect whether or not your persona transforms into a new form. The new form personas aren't exactly super critical to get, but a lot of them are good. So, trade-off, like I said.
So, in a way, rank is a level.
For a persona, right.
And mutation is like an evolution.
In a way, yes. But it also, like I said, as I said before, it'll also help increase stats.
Yeah.
It can also unlock hidden powers, and it can also help them learn hidden moves. Every persona in the game, as far as my knowledge goes, has one move they can learn via mutation through that. One and only one. It's the same with no matter who you get. And that's the same. It's concrete, like Surya, for example. Let me use a different persona name. Volcanus, for example, learns, let's say, Zeo. No matter how many times you fuse up Volcanus, if it mutates, it's going to learn Zeo. If that's what you get from it. Alright, so here now I try to interview the Ratatosk, and she's pretty happy. Now sometimes, like I said, at certain points, I just go after tarot cards because you're gonna want them, and you're gonna want to constantly you're gonna want tarot cards as often as you can get. Congratulations. Thank you. So fuck. So I pissed her off and I made her interested at the same time.
Everybody's a critic.
Ain't she? Now, what was I going to get at? Persona 2 will ask the player to really have a bit of a balance between diplomacy and violence. Because there are times when you're gonna have to kill to keep yourself strong enough to make new persona. At the same time, if you're killing too much, you're gonna just eventually hit a brick wall when you're gonna need to get stronger persona that are gonna suit your needs.
Yeah. It's not a matter of just like grinding through the traditional way, you could say.
Yeah.
You have to negotiate with demons to get items you can't get otherwise.
Precisely.
Now, do you think this game hits a good balance on that? Or is it quite clearly tilted towards one end? They clearly want you to do this instead of that.
There's no real balance in that regard. In other words, it's not a case of I think it does one better than the other, say Undertale with its 2 routes or something like that.
Yeah.
So in this instance, in Eternal Punishment, we both treat them as tools. You can either defeat them in bloody combat, or you can defeat them through diplomacy.
Because nothing changes if you like negotiate your way through every single boss or fiend in the game.
Well, you're not going to be able to do that.
Well, yeah, you can't do that, period. Just like to defeat a boss.
No, I mean, even if bosses, if your level is too low, they won't reason with you.
Yeah.
Or they'll reason with you. You could probably talk your way out of a lot of things.
No, but what I mean, though, is that
you won't be able to make new persona and get stronger.
You can't finish a boss fight just by talking to them.
Right, they're beyond the point of reason.
Yeah.
In addition, as I was going to get at too, if you're too weak, you can't make a new persona for those boss battles where you're going to need a stronger persona. Plus, you don't get experience from negotiations either. So you can find yourself at level 3 talking down to level 47 boss.
Negotiations are strictly for items.
Items and cards.
Okay.
That's distracting. Anyway, new monsters here. That there is Blob. Although that's the sprite for... Here's the fun fact. That right there is known as a Blob monster. It's a level 5. It is... It can give you a poison card too if you talk to it, which is just going to inflict the poison status. I don't care for it much. Zan is... and that flying monster is a Harpy. The Harpies are weak to guns and earth. The Blob monsters are also weak to holy, but you can really hit them with anything you want. Fun trivia. In Eternal Punishment, they get a sprite swap with the next tier of jelly monster up. Anyway, now a trick you can use to ranking up Persona to a degree, and admittedly it's a little easier in Eternal Punishment because you can buy the Dia spell card, is that so long as your healing inflicts 1 point of damage, it heals for 1 point of damage, which a demon can at least do no matter how high level you get. If you can heal for at least 1 point of damage, you can consistently use that to rank up your persona as long as it's doing moves.
So that's how. So you just need to move with it.
Right. As long as it's casting a spell, it's gonna gain points toward a rank up.
So it's kind of like getting sphere experience in 10. As long as your character does some action, you'll get experience.
Correct.
Okay.
Now I go for another fusion spell, and this is Mega Blaze.
But this requires 3 persona.
Yeah. There are some that require 2, some that require 3, and a couple that will require all 5. There's also persona-specific fusions. But you'll know that when they come up.
Yeah.
So.
Is it kind of like the techniques in Chrono Trigger, where you need 2 or 3 characters in order to do it?
Yes.
Okay.
In addition, now here's the thing. You need 2 or 3 characters, but it's also very flexible with the 2 or 3 characters. In other words, you don't need this character specifically to do a fire fusion spell if your other person has a fire spell to do it too.
This is pretty much my purpose when Matt's leading an RPG for something I never played before in my life. I tried to think of an analogy that like brings it down to tip brass tacks to make it easier to understand for people that don't already play the Persona series, if I understand it myself.
All right, I got to rank up. What happened to me?
Oh.
Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Stats increase help to a degree, but it's also like the chocolate crumbs on a really good cheesecake.
You want more?
Exactly. You want the better. So, anyway, what was I gonna get? Now that I've changed up all the dungeon around, spread throughout the dungeon now are gonna be cards. Or chests full of spell cards. You're gonna want to grab yourself.
Bring it on.
Easy, girl. 3 Nightmares and a Ratatosk. Again, Maya makes quick work of all of them here. Just use Hama. Tatsuya's sword also does well here too, because he's good with the physical attacks on that. Since Ginkgo now has since Lisa,
That's her name. Well, nickname anyway.
since Lisa now has Garu magic, she can use Garu to pick up its weakness and help contribute actively to battles. She's also violating my first source of wind magic in the game. Kameya! Kameya! Maya.
Huh?
Now, the thing about stat increasements when it comes to personas is that it'll help improve their longevity among your team, because that'll also give them the it gives them an additional stats and stability.
Stability, yeah.
Well, stability. I meant to say longevity.
Oh, longevity. Okay.
In other words, it'll help improve their magical stats. But at the same time, though, considering how much I love to like experiment with all sorts of combinations, kind of hurts me too, because now it's like, I don't really want to get rid of you.
This is kind of overkill.
I don't think there's any such thing as overkill. It's just dead and dead more. Ow.
Does this game have an overkill mechanic?
No, it does not have an overkill mechanic.
If you overkill?
No.
Oh.
Other than maybe the raging stiffy you get from a job well done.
And I do like raging stiffies.
I do like raging stiffies. John Ortiz, 2017.
2017.
Now, of course, this game does the dickhead route sometimes and throws in a monster with a chest, but you don't see that till later in the game. There's Magna. There's the staff room, too. Now, one other thing we're going to be doing here, too. The room that they're in is hidden behind a club password. So we're going to be looking for a room that will give us, well, not a password, but we need a piece of identification. In this case, it's their creepy fucking masks. Like, we're talking like Court of Owls looking fucking mask.
I can tell. I can just see it from here.
Right.
Really. Although you can't. You don't get a portrait though.
Yeah.
You only get the sprite.
So later in the game, you'll get portraits if it fucking mattered enough to you.
Okay. Yeah, but like even from here, I totally get Court of the Owls.
Right. So now ultimately, we now get an idea that there's a giant meeting coming on down here that are specifically catered to Joker's followers. Which I can't imagine Joker really doing much with a fan club. Hey, I got one free card. Boo. I guess that card there is going to be like an introductory tutorial for you to like, hey, here's how fucking unique free cards work for you, dumbass. Go get more.
Now, when you jumped from Persona 1 to Persona 2, did a part of you miss like the old-fashioned dungeon crawler, like first-person view?
Nah.
Not really. Okay.
I did not hate the first-person dungeon crawler, but I was cool with this version just fine regardless.
Yeah, well, this is more something I'm familiar with.
Right. The only thing is that the only thing I'll admit that took me a while was that I had to get used to the actual name of Megami Tensei, and so I was like, Agi, what's that? Boom. Yeah. Oh, shit, I just hit a fire monster with a fire spell.
Yeah, I know. Even then, I'm still getting tripped up with the different naming conventions for spells.
I don't blame you. I mean, what the fuck is a Bufu?
Yeah. Again, it's a bootleg Fubu.
So I kind of weigh my options here when it comes to statistics for a long time.
Wait, like considering your options?
Yeah. Because it's like, do I go for the extra point of direct raw defense, or do I just enjoy the higher vitality? And I choose higher vitality. Now, here's the thing. I do have to confess, though, sometimes I get myself a little lost at it from time to time. So ultimately, it's like I tend to like look at the map a lot.
Well, you look at the map, and I'm assuming.
Wait, hold on, bro. You hear faintly?
What?
Hear that?
Oh.
It's the hum. That's the Persona hum. That's like, oh, and that's the messy floor. In
messy floor, fucking detonating in your ankles.
Yeah, that becomes a thing in Eternal Punishment, where this dungeon returns in Eternal Punishment, but now that floor, now steps like that are highly corrosive to your health, so you have to get a demon that actually is known as a neat freak. It's a demon rumor, and then you talk to that demon, form a contract with her, and then say there's a mess there, and the demon will go, yeah, you're right, I'll clean that up for you. Thanks, buddy.
You're nice.
Now this is a rare thing here. If you come in here and talk to Yukino and answer yeah, you unlock a contract option with her too. Now that I have that, we basically get a conversation going here with Yukino in conversation where we'll just beat the shit out of demons.
Simple enough contract.
I like it. Look, I'm not really good with my words. Here, pow. Ow!
I like you.
Exactly. It works. Some demons like a brusque approach. Meanwhile, some like the kid demons will go, fuck, dude!
Stop stepping on the explosive urine.
Explosive urine. Now, one thing is, with the upcoming boss battle in particular, actually, Innocent Sin does something different here. I'll explain that a bit as the boss battle progresses. As long as you have the mask, you're free to go in.
This guy's a bouncer.
Exactly. Save before your boss battles. I did this so I could show Johnny. I did this here so I could show off the boss battle and then show off the alternative pathways. Because here's what you're really supposed to do with this. You're basically not supposed to be in the boss battles early on. I'll explain more as it goes on. But first, let's see what's going on inside the Zodiac Secret Lounge.
It's a secret. Shut up.
It's a secret. It's kicking. Jesus Christ. So basically, the new leader here is using the power of the rumor to make himself stronger than the boss.
I'm plotting Eikichi's humiliation since middle school.
Yeah, because Eikichi pantsed him.
Oh, okay. So now he's gonna have like 4 other people just beat the shit out of him.
See, Sugimoto blames the pantsing for the reason he lost his girlfriend instead of the obvious fact that Sugimoto's like a huge asshole.
Please stop pantsing me. Was that his hand, a knife?
Yes, that's a switch.
Okay. You know, his face looks remarkably unscathed.
Yeah, surprisingly so. So basically...
Well, that's cozy.
Yeah, that's cozy, is it? Ow, Ham Beast? Whoa, give me 5.
Hey, up top.
So basically, Eikichi thought nothing of it. Like he was there's a bigger story to these two here though. Basically he always liked Hanakoji. But this was back during Eikichi's youth when he himself was fat and pudgy. So as a result, but then one day Eikichi got like humiliated in front of her. I think Hanakoji like was too shocked or stunned to do anything. But ultimately, it shaped Eikichi into turning himself around so that he would be more impressive to her. But at the same time frame, Hanakoji, out of guilt and embarrassment, fattened herself up. So ultimately, poor communication kills there. Now, here's the thing with Innocent Sin. Each of the characters have a starter persona. But they can also elevate to a primal persona, which is basically a much stronger variation of their starter persona. To get each of those starter personas, each of them have to overcome a bit of a Tarot story among their arcana. Eikichi's his death, I'll explain that one later. Now, let me rephrase that. For each of them, it's Eikichi, Lisa, and Maya. Yuki, you don't have to worry about that. Yuki doesn't get a custom. If each of them succeed in getting their prime persona, Tatsuya will get his automatically because you gave your friends their moment in the sun. Wink, wink. Anyway, but if you choose to interrupt, you have to do a boss battle. And this here is our boss with Sugimoto. Where the fuck did the rest of the world go? Reverse Radamanthus.
Reverse?
Yeah, in Arcana, there's basically a normal status and a reverse status, which is basically the opposite of what that persona stands for. Or rather, what that person stands for. Usually that's the birth of the shadow selves, or the characters, or basically their negative aspects. In Jungian psychology, apparently, it's the darker half of everybody that nobody wants to admit to. In this case here, it's just basically Sugimoto ultimately made that deal with and passed that rumor so that he could have the same power as the boss did, which makes him equivalent, if not stronger. Now, here's a kicker to this boss battle, though. In particular, remember the rumor. Because that rumor is still in effect, Eikichi cannot hurt him. So he's ultimately dedicated to standby unless he's part of a fusion spell. If he's part of a fusion spell, he can contribute to the damage.
Because it's technically not just him anymore.
Right. Okay. But the second he does it alone, no dice. I think I shut it off just to make a point.
I admire the attention to detail.
I do too. That's the thing I love about Innocent Sin. At face value, you swear to Christ, this shit is like a fanfiction that lost its rails. Same with Eternal Punishment. But at the same time, they follow on each other in its own logic, and it upholds its own logic consistently, which for me makes these really strong and fun games. In story, anyway. In story. So now, basically, unfortunately, once you figure out where you're hurting the bosses, they start to drag. Just like in terms of presentation, I have to confess that. I love my Persona 2 games, but once they figure out the bosses' patterns, especially with Innocent Sin, Eternal Punishment, they at least hit hard enough so that you're flexing your strategies.
Yeah.
Innocent Sin does not get that lucky, unfortunately. So you're basically going to have to just slog through it.
Yeah. And again, but this was originally a PlayStation 1 game.
Right.
And
There's something I want to ask, too, to the viewers who may have actually gotten to play Japanese Innocent Sin. Is the damage formula off? In other words...
Compared to the original?
Yes. Like, are they just hitting easier because of an intentional design choice here compared to Innocent Sin? Or was Innocent Sin on the PS1 this simplistic, too, in terms of damage output to you? Because I know in Eternal Punishment, the Eternal Punishment, they'll start hitting you hard as around Dungeon 3, if not 4, and it won't let up on the gas.
In terms of numerical values?
Yes, like you're going to be, like you will be hitting hard, but you'll also be getting hit hard too.
Right.
So but it's not. But I still don't find Eternal Punishment to be a superly challenging game, especially once you understand the rules of the game.
Yeah.
As soon as you have that down, you're just it's basically like any other game.
More highlighting on once you understand how the game works, which I'd imagine, I mean, that's the case for a lot of games. You can say that for everything. Once you know what to do, then it's fine, obviously. But I think my biggest problem with Persona 2 in particular, this goes for both Innocent Sin and Eternal Punishment, because I have Innocent Sin on the PSP upstairs. And I have Eternal Punishment on the PS3. I felt a little not much, but I felt a little overwhelmed with how the mechanics of the game work, and I felt like there was like 50 things I might have been missing.
Oh, dude, believe me, I can understand that wholeheartedly, dude. Like, there's some, and believe it or not, ironically enough, that actually put me off of Eternal Punishment at first too. But then I sat down and I learned the mechanics, and I learned what I'm applying and what I'm not applying.
Yeah, sometimes it really does make the difference. Like, if you just stick to it and stick to your guns and play the game, and once you finally do understand it, you get the most out of it, because that's ultimately what ended up with me in Majora's Mask.
Same with me in Final Fantasy 12.
Yeah.
Once I sat down, took a few extra minutes, and understood the what gambits were, it ended up being one of my top 4 favorite Final Fantasies.
And Majora's Mask is not my favorite 3D Zelda game, period.
Now, at some point, I just tried to like set it onto a replay, but then the boss can do some weird shit every now and again. This is Gree. This is group-based Almighty Magic. For you guys, whenever your party casts Gree, it's going to hit all enemies within the group of within that group. Like 3 Tengu monsters, for example, will get hit by Gree, as opposed to the 3 Tengu and the Minotaur. Of course, because your group is classified as one group of humans. Yeah. All 5 of you are going to hit with Gree.
Okay, so it classifies species.
Right, which also makes it kind of weird that your enemies are going to get both Gree and Megiddo, which is ultimately the same as Almighty Magic for all enemies involved. Because now it's like, okay, I'm going to get hit with Gree or I'm going to get hit with Megiddo. Either I'm getting hit with Almighty Magic. Yeah. Now, the one thing Sugimoto could probably do, I think, is, well, he basically has all the same skills as Radamanthus minus Gree. Gree's all him. But he really can't do shit other than get you wet. The only thing he might be an issue for is if you're not alternating or rotating out your personas effectively. Because then you're going to have issues where... he's picking off 2 of your initial character's water weaknesses. But as I said before, though, that alone could be one of the big challenges with the boss battle. Considering that you're at the stage in the game right now where you're not quite getting a whole lot of tarot cards in your negotiations comfortably.
Yeah.
That's one thing about Innocent Sin in comparison. Well, Eternal Punishment suffers from it too to a degree, I have to confess. With regards to negotiation, it's a bit of a slow rev. But once you get to like your 2nd or 3rd dungeon, it comes through much more smoother for you.
Is there any point to this? Is there meaning behind the minimalistic background, or is it just? Like,
honest to God, that's just intentional choice by them.
Okay.
Like basically, this is every time they like change to alternate it, it's just basically their choice.
Is this background unique to this fight?
Yes.
Okay,
and honestly,
in that case,
you want to know what the real point of this is? If you were probably to look at the kanji down there on the floor, it
Yeah.
probably represents the Zodiac circle.
Maybe.
So that's just to represent that you're in a Club Zodiac boss battle.
You're also battling in a nightclub essentially.
Yeah.
And you're
Spotlights.
Sweet rave lights, yeah.
So the only thing
Personas are the only ones that are really dancing.
Well, yeah, they're dancing to the hymn.
Yeah. Yeah. So what was that? Like that humming we were hearing earlier?
It's the Persona's hymn.
Hymn of the Faith?
In a way, yes. It's basically the Personas resonating with the users to let them know about danger ahead. In this game, I like the tune of it too, but I also like how Eternal Punishment handles it. Instead of a him, it's a straight up heartbeat. Like you're tensing up, like shit.
So it's basically dangerous. Heads up, a boss is coming.
Right.
Okay. That's cool. I like that. Normally, save points are indicative to that.
But you can save anywhere in the game.
True, but if like in older games, if there's a save point before a door, I wonder what's behind that door.
In Vesperia, your clue for that is ultimately, hey, why do I get a save point that can heal me fully? Uh-oh.
Oh, it wasn't the thing on the door that says, hey, idiot, there's a boss behind this door.
Pretty much.
He's getting okay. So do bosses have like
stances?
Weak animations? Like if you're getting close to wiping them out, will they like change poses?
No. The only way you'll know if a boss is weak to something is if the number of values are a little higher.
No. I mean like if the boss is close to dying.
Yes.
Will he change poses?
Yes. Okay, Hanya did it too. It wasn't exactly immediately apparently on Hanya, but you can easily see it on him too.
Yeah, it's like Mystic Quest.
How so?
Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. The sprite would change if you're close to destroying it.
I like it.
I mean, no Final Fantasy game on the SNES did that except Mystic Quest. There's one thing I can give Mystic Quest besides having a phenomenal soundtrack, is that it lets you know when the bosses are about to die.
Then you can get a fucking move on.
Still a bored piece of shit everywhere else.
God damn.
Yeah, Ellie could do that for the channel.
All right, fine.
He'll do Mystic Quest.
That's his RPG contribution for the year. So now the only thing is, though, is that Sugimoto does have a fair amount of health for this stage in the game, so it's kind of works to jump. Ow! Fucking hit me with red swords.
I think the worst thing is, like you were getting at it earlier, is that you've been laying the smackdown on the boss for the entire thing, and it still takes this long, despite the fact that you were doing everything in your power that you can do at this point.
Right, and like I said, that's the one downside to the 2 duology, at least. Boss battles, dreck. Does
it get better in the future games?
I think in Eternal Punishment it gets better.
Okay.
Because, I mean, with Eternal Punishment, it's ultimately the same thing. But frankly, for me, I think it's just because they hit harder in Eternal Punishment that I have to constantly flex up and change my tactics. Innocent Sin, once you get in there, you could probably go on repeat. All right, so ultimately you knock him the fuck out here, but Eikichi never really learns his lesson.
Right, because you stepped in.
Right.
And again, you went into it earlier, but just to go recover again, what happens if you decide not to step in?
Did you show that off?
No.
Oh, dude.
What?
That was Eikichi's best moment. I left that in there for that.
Did you?
Yeah.
I didn't see you reload the save. Oh, I mean, if the files are still there, then I can just show it off here.
If it's in the next part, maybe.
Yeah.
But ultimately what happens is that, all right, in the future reference, I show off the boss battle, but ultimately, because I'm going to get Radamanthus Prime. What I ultimately do is I reload the save, and then I but then I choose not to fight the boss. Eikichi finds a loophole in the rumor, and basically Eikichi says, it says that the leader may be stronger than the boss of Kasai, which is Eikichi. But then Eikichi says, there's no way in hell Hiroki Sugimoto is stronger than Eikichi Mishina, and beats the shit out of him. It's a fucking awesome moment.
I'm the leader. Fuck you, you're not.
But ultimately, this is a story befitting of the Death Arcana. Eikichi puts one potion of his life, which is being the boss of a high school, behind him. And ultimately seeks to move on now to the grander picture of the whole scheme of things. Coincidentally, this is what I like about Eikichi, though, because Eikichi, considering the rest of the fucking cast's issues and drama and whatnot, Eikichi's straight fucking forward. So ultimately, now we find out that Hiroki here was told that somebody would give him an additional seat of power if he went ahead and began the whole rumor thing here. Yeah. So basically, here's the responsibility of an organization, and one of their executives is Lady Scorpio. Again with the Zodiac thing, but that's all he knows. He's just a glorified grunt.
Of course, he's always like bottom of the food chain sort of thing.
I think bottom of the food chain was Hanya.
Climb that ladder.
Yeah, you can go from being a piece of shit to a lump of shit.
And then Joker's at the top and just kicks you off. It's like, fuck you, Joker.
Steps on your hand.
I only had one, damn it.
Oh, I think you do show it off.
Oh, okay, so this is what you're doing. Okay. I thought you were saving the game.
No. Well, we'll get to see the scene. That's awesome. But ultimately, this is what I always try to show off, is that I'll show off the boss battle, but then I'll show off what happens when you don't go through the boss battle, which is the canonical path for me, because that's how you're gonna get the prime personas.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I did leave all this in. For a second, I thought it was all just part of the post boss cutscene.
No.
Okay, well.
But that's what I'm glad you left it in. So now that you also know to do that for the other two. Actually, no, other one.
Okay.
I think there's only one other boss that pulls that shit.
Okay.
And then after that, it's like the rest of them you just like. No, because Maya's doesn't require a boss battle, I believe. So it's just only Eikichi's it's Eikichi's and there's another one, Lisa. Those two have it where you got to do that. Other than that, I think you're pretty much safe if I just go through. So now we come back here again. Eikichi's getting the tar kicked out of him again. Sorry, Eikichi, time loop. And rumor has it you do something better this time.
So her name is Miyabi.
Miyabi Hanakoji.
Hanakoji.
Hence the nickname Cozy.
Yeah.
So basically, and I already explained it earlier, what her deal is. Wow. And they're all, goddamn. I love Eikichi though. Like Eikichi's like, no, you know what? Fuck this shit. I don't care if she's like 5 pounds or 500. You make fun of her, I'll gore you. And in case you notice there, he slashed her.
Yeah, he slashed her.
Light scar across the left cheek.
Yeah, that should keep that in the entire game.
Yes.
Yeah, I figured as much.
So now we're back here again. If we storm in there, we will hurt Eikichi's pride, but this is his moment. So, no, we're going to let him have his moment in the sun. Let's wait and see what happens.
You done?
Mm-hmm. Nah, do it again. Whack. Ow! How much longer?
So everybody, tacos? Tacos. Yeah, and everybody just walks out.
I like this. How much longer are we going to watch him get his ass kicked? There's not enough of him to beat left. And yes, he's still pitching because he got pantsed. And she actually got fed up with the way you picked on anyone weaker than you. Ooh, take that.
Are you stalking me and my girlfriend?
No, she probably told Eikichi after Eikichi dated her.
Okay.
Oh, shit. Damn, dude.
What the fuck?
I wish that the timing was a little better on that. But
I've heard of Ric Flair chops, but it's like Ric Flair swipes.
The leader is stronger than the boss. Uh-huh. Now he quits being the boss. Well, now that he rescinds the title, there's no boss.
Yeah.
And the rumor's gone. So now, as I said earlier, there's no way Hiroki is ever stronger than Eikichi, and he gets his ass kicked. I love that scene. It's one of Eikichi's best. It's one of Eikichi's best moments. And here's the thing: he becomes the better man too. He let Hiroki get his payback, but then he puts it behind him immediately. He lets it die, and moves on. That's pretty much the Death Arcana in a nutshell.
Just yank my pants.
Yeah, we'll find out if my dick's bigger than yours too.
Rumor has it I have an elephant trunk.
Be careful. If that shit comes true, you're going to have a colossal...
Like, it's an actual elephant trunk for a cock.
Oh, Christ.
I can make it sing. Fucking Joker.
But Hanakoji can't deal with it easily, and her guilt is hounding her. So now we're back to here again, and we're going to learn this all the way through again.
Yeah, I just noticed the Zodiac symbols on the floor.
Right, that's probably what you saw on the boss battle screen.
Yeah.
So where the rest of reality went's a good question. It's Yasuo. Basically, he's a piece of shit in the Kusai, fuck am I looking for? What's our word? Line? Kusai, student council.
Okay.
Line?
They ain't no fucking script.
We do this shit live.
Well, you guys watch your post.
All right, so now we have a next goal in mind. Lisa's ready to stomp his face in, and we're going to have to call it apart. So tune in next time, folks, where I try to go to Kasugiyama High. See you then.